Advanced Communicator Gold, Advanced Leader Bronze on her Toastmaster achievement. She's very far along. She's knocking on the door of Distinguished Toastmaster. She's an author, soon to release her second book. She's been a member of SST, or Toastmasters, I guess, 4.5 years, maybe all of it here.
Yes.
Already here. She's ever seeking to ignite her greatness. This is her project number 2 from her Communicator Manual, Organize Your Speech. Her objectives are select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand your speech, make your message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message, use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another, create a strong opening and conclusion. The title of her speech is Desensitization. This is part 2 of the presentation at SST's club contest. So you recently, any of this is that what that means at the club?
Similar, this is...
Similar, this is part, okay. Desensitization part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a welcome to vivacious Joanne Tisdale.
Wow. Please be standing with me. Please stand with me. I need you to repeat after me. This is my defining moment.
This is my defining moment.
All right, that was good. Secondly, look to the right and the left of you and say to your neighbor, this is your defining moment.
This is your defining moment.
Wow, you guys are awesome. Please have a seat. Room have children.
There you go.
How many of you in the room have nieces or nephews? All right. No? Do you have children? Okay, gotcha, okay. All right. As I was leaving to come for this presentation, man, I heard a quote that just really, really grabbed me. There was no name given for the quote, but the quote said, people would rather experience a known hell rather than experience an unknown heaven. And I thought, wow, let me write that down before I leave. Wow. Desensitization, by definition, to be callous or unfeeling. This is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity because every one of you get to write on the canvas of someone's life. Every one of you. Don, you get to write on the canvas of somebody's life. Johanna, you get to write on the canvas of someone's life. Now, that's an opportunity. Why is it an opportunity, Joanne? I am so glad you asked. These are some things that you can write on the canvas of people's lives. Many of you know that I work in the school district. The setting where I work, we're quickly approaching 1,000 elementary boys and girls. I get to be a teacher assistant in PE, and so I've seen it all, Don. I've seen before 8 a.m. in the morning, children coming in angry already. I've seen Angela and heard parents before 8 a.m. cursing and screaming at their children. And I looked at that and I'm thinking, wow. Then and there, when I started, I made a conscious decision that I was going to be the balm, B-A-L-M, of love to everyone I encountered. And so the journey began. I decided when the kids would come to PE, this was my son, much love. Much love. Been in PE about 5 years now. My goal was every child that comes to PE, because we see them all, every one of them would know unequivocally they're loved. And I'm believing that I have accomplished that goal. I believe that this desensitization is a tsunami epidemic. This has inspired me to really understand what children go through. Before I go on, I want us to look at just a few lines of the poem. It says, if children live with criticism, they learn to condemn. If children live with hostility, Clayton, they learn to fight. If children live with ridicule, they learn to be shy, no confidence. If children live with shame, they learn to feel guilty. When I say a tsunami epidemic, I'm not kidding. When I say a tsunami, I ended up in there because I was supposed to impact those kids. And you're probably looking at me and say, okay, Joanne, what does that have to do with the price of brownies with walnuts and pecans and Cool Whip on it? I'll tell you, it has everything to do with the price of brownies. As you're looking at me, come walk with me. Come walk with me in the adult world. I am suggesting that very possibly the adults that I'm looking at right now, the same profile that I just shared with you about those children, that we all fit that same profile. Maybe a different flavor. My take on that is abuse is abuse. Someone has said 1 drop of poop in cake batter, you still are eating poop cake batter. Is who people were meant to be. It changes them forever. When I show you this, I believe with all my being that children were meant to be about this. But where I work, children are belligerent, they are defiant, they are aggressive, because it's my belief that they learn and they live with that. So in the adult world, I said I believe that that same profile is ours. I work with a PE teacher, shared a little bit the first very sophisticated in setting it up so they can get sent to timeout early in the game. They set it up and you look at me, no. Remember I said, abuse changes the way they were meant to be. So what's happening here? Oh, I know what to do to get coach to send me to timeout. And they are sophisticated and methodical about that. Then I've seen children that now know what to say or how to push coach's button. And he'll say, get out of my classroom. Hence, the abuse continues to perpetuate itself. A quote that says, the purpose of life is to be restored back to love moment by moment. Now in the adult suffering from this, what chance in HELL do you believe our children have? The point of all of this is to possibly bring some awareness to you, to me. Or do we rest in a known hell because to become aware, to come out of denial would be to experience heaven? What have I done to get the stitch of that behavior from me? I have done Al-Anon support groups. Those Al-Anon support groups are for families that have alcoholism in their families. I've done CODA, Codependence Anonymous. That's for people that have compulsive behavior disorders. They have things like low self-esteem patterns. They have control pattern issues. They have compliance pattern issues, and they live in denial. Wow, that's a tall order. And you said, well, Joanne, what do you fit in all of this? I'm so glad you asked. How many of you know the story about the starfish? Yeah. And I'm paraphrasing. There are miles and miles of ocean here. How do you think you're going to save all of them? And the boy picks up one starfish and he throws it and he said, I saved one. What's the answer? Save one at a time. When I was doing my alcohol and drug abuse training, they told us about families that live with a pink elephant in the middle of the room and nobody talks about it. I decided to do some research on yesterday, driving around and asking people, why do you think nobody talks about a pink elephant in the middle of the room? Seriously? And nobody can see it? And some of the answers I got was, well, they don't want to cause trouble. Well, nobody will listen. Well, then somebody's going to say, what are you talking about? And the pink elephant is right there. I made a conscious choice again to change people, places, and things because I chose not to live in a desensitization society. There is, I didn't tell y'all this yet. I don't know what you guys want to do. I've been talking about can be bondage for you. It can enslave you. and that greatness that I said that you all embody, it can escape you. I've heard my colleagues say, you know what? I could have stood more beatings. And then his colleague said, I heard that, you know what you need? You need a knuckle sandwich up beside your head. The third colleague, and I heard all of this, said, you know what? You need something on your backside. And studies have shown over and over and over again that when people are changed because of abuse, you've got suicide, you've got perpetuation of that heinousness. I remember my dad whipped me one time, and you know what he said? This whipping is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, Joanne. I never could figure that one out because I had the backside pain. But that's what he would say, it's gonna hurt me more than it hurt you. And then, if you by chance believe that you were deserving of physical, of any kind of abuse, and you want to get really quiet at some point and look at you. I'm gonna ask Amanda real quickly, and I almost forgot, and that way you get to stop the time. Amanda's gonna read this short poem that I wanted you guys to hear. Please, Amanda. Please stand so they can hear you, because I love it.
In the absence of self-worth, abuse is tolerated, including self-abuse. In the absence of self-love, boundaries are violated, including by you. In the absence of self-esteem, we become outer-obsessed and inner-neglectful. Find the self you are beyond name and place, race, and face. You deserve it. Robert
Wow.
Benham.
Thank you so much, Amanda. When you look at me and I look at you, we all